Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button and keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. Alright folks, here we are after market close on Tuesday, October 3rd. We're going to take a look at T2 today. So we have levels on the chart here for T2. We'll zoom out on the daily and take a look at that in a moment. First, I want to take a look at the intraday from yesterday and today to see how our levels are holding up. And then we'll flip over to the daily, and then we'll flip over to Think or Swim and take a look at some of the indicators and the channel setup there. So yesterday, T2 came sort of barreling in the pre-market, trying to stretch above this 23.49, kicked itself down ahead of open and couldn't hold 21.94 into open, shoved off down to 20.71 level, coming within a fraction of a penny of the level that we had in, and then tried to retake 21.94 again, couldn't do it, and then on the second attempt later in the day, barreled all the way up to 23.49. Now couldn't hold it in the after hours, but was trying to hug this 22.78, shifted down to 21.94, and obviously there it's losing levels, not what you want to see. And it tried twice to take that 21.94 out of the gate today and sort of capitulated there midday. Didn't need to quite come down as low as yesterday's lows. Maybe that's something to think about. I mean, it's not maybe much solace seeing that there was a slew of consecutive lower highs throughout the aftermarket hours yesterday as well as throughout the day today. But it did try to barrel back through into close. Now, if we see how this looks on the daily, zoom in here, and it looks like this. So we have this gap down here now. So we're going to put that on the chart to just note that, hey, if T2 keeps losing price, it is eventually going to come into this level, and there may not be a ton of support through this gap. We'll see. Maybe there is, but we're going to note it for now. And if it gets in there, we'll just sort of watch it and see what it does. There's not very solid discernible levels within that gap, at least from this recent price action. If it gets in there, though, we will come in and see what we can add. So we see some sort of top-heavy candle bodies. So to the extent to which that is sort of buoying for the bulls, you know, long bottom wicks is better than long top wicks, I guess, if you want to say that at least. And you have, you know, this sort of hammerish looking candle down here as well that kind of kicked things off. So that's the view that I'd look for levels wise. You know, if it is able to push tomorrow, 22.78, 23.49, and 24.47 would be the ones to try to kick it off. If it does need support, 20.71 would be the level that I see, and then it gets into that gap right around 1991. What a great year that was. And another great year, 1833, is where if it came through and filled the gap, that is where it would present itself. So we'll see as that holds up, but I am happy as we zoom in intraday, which is the usefulness of plotting on the daily, how these levels are holding up. Really strong so far, and I'm not really too keen to make any major changes there for the time being besides those gap levels that we just put in. So let's flip over, and here we're going to look at a few things. We're going to look at and see where we're situated in the channel. We're going to check out the TTM Squeeze indicator and basically call it a video from there. So we see here still on the daily with T2, we had left the channel here for several days on that run up. What we always look for when we leave the channel is for it to revert back and test the mid-range of the channel, that bright blue line in the middle. It's exactly what it did after spending several days out, and it sort of had, I mean, it's just the roller coaster nature of T2 at the moment is it pushed down hard and then tried to pull back hard. Pushed down not quite as hard and then pulled up strongly, hit the upper bound of the channel, and then has sort of fallen through to the lower bound of the channel in recent days, and now is sort of trying to meekly peel itself back up to potentially make another run at the mid-range. I don't know that it's going to make it. Right now it's struggling with this red bearish cloud at the moment, so we'll see if that is able to give way or not. Now there were these three trigger candles here on the TTM Squeeze indicator. And since those have fired, it's mostly moved sideways and slightly down, but then, it kind of reverted and got back to where it was. So it just retraced those losses and now is peeling back. So it's kind of sitting here in an unclear, come on, Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim has to give me a hard time no matter what's happening. Okay, it's not going to let me zoom out. So in any case, what I'm trying to point out here is that it's sort of just waffling around, right? It had really big uptick in bullish momentum here, and then it did sort of the very natural, nice, slow and steady peel down, flip, straight out flip to bearish momentum, straight peel back, reduction in bearish momentum back toward the baseline, but it didn't quite make it. And so this is kind of curious. It didn't quite make it back to the baseline on this bearish momentum, and then it pushed hard again for a few days, and now it's kind of just flatlining again for the past 3 candles. So it's kind of in this like really herky-jerky position, at least for these candles here, but it's herky-jerky where it's just kind of returning to the same levels again, right? It's back right about where it was several candles ago, 6 or 7 candles ago. So it has this like strong roller coaster feel, but at the moment it's really kind of roller coastering in a pretty confined range, even though that might be a large percentage range. But comparatively speaking, you had like these huge run-ups up out of the channel and then pushing down through into the channel. This is relatively constrained against that. So I'm kind of interested to see what's happening here as we had this smooth reduction in bearish momentum but didn't quite make it to the baseline on the histogram. And then as it was done triggering and it fired, kind of picked up just a smidge of bearish momentum, but not much of any. And now it's seemingly peeling back a little bit at a time. So it seems like it's sort of in a really kind of unclear, uncertain bullish or bearish momentum, or it's going to flip this bearish trend to flat trend and neutral trend and sort of like wait to gather, coil into an area and then maybe make its next push. We'll have to see, but that's what I'm looking for at the moment, and those levels that we had looked at on the Webull chart. All right, folks, I hope that you had a good trading day and that your week is off to a good start. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.